MGM had no idea of Grace's future. It cast her in a film that was oddly prophetic. The Swan.
It was based on a play by Murnau, and the story was very simply the story of a princess.
I want to be so good to you. Oh, I want 100 things. I want to tell you everything that's in my heart, all my secrets. I adore Napoleon, too.
This princess.
I want to hear you call me by my name.
Alexandra. Alexandra. There was an innate aristocracy, elegance about her, not only in comportment and manners, but also in thinking, in being. It has been a cliche to say that Grace Kelly looked like a princess, but she did. There was another element in Grace Kelly that was all important. She had this extraordinary sense of humor, not only and first of all about herself, never taking herself seriously.
During filming of The Swan, Alec Guinness had an Indian tomahawk smuggled into Grace's bed, and she quickly returned the compliment. The joke would continue for years.
They never spoke about
Had no idea of Grace's future. It cast her in a film that was oddly prophetic. The Swan.
It was based on a play by Murnau, and the story was very simply the story of a princess.
Paper towel away from
I want to be so good to you. Oh, I want 100 things. I want to tell you everything that's in my heart, all my secrets. I adore Napoleon, too.
This princess.
I want to hear you call me by my name.
Alexandra. Alexandra. There was an innate aristocracy, elegance about her, not only in comportment and manners, but also in thinking, in being. It has been a cliche to say that Grace Kelly looked like a princess, but she did. There was another element in Grace Kelly that was all important. She had this extraordinary sense of humor, not only and first of all about herself, never taking herself seriously.
During filming of The Swan, Alec Guinness had an Indian tomahawk smuggled into Grace's bed, and she quickly returned the compliment. The joke would continue for
Why do we need to hold about it? I'm sure I know what you're talking about. And it was this identical tomahawk. Somehow, Alec Guinness got it into the palace at least once, into Grace's bed. Classically, my Aunt Oscar got back 3 in the morning, or whatever it was. And there in my bed, in Beverly Woods Hotel, was the tomahawk.
Out of this extraordinarily withdrawn, glamorous, glacial personality poured forth this sense of the ridiculous that only the British could really appreciate, or a 5-year-old child.
All I ever said of that finishing school, I think they finished her there.
Come on, Mother. Jessie Royce Flanders played Grace Kelly's mother in 2 films. And when Grace married Prince Rainier, she said, I'm the one who advised her to marry him, and told her that will be your greatest role.
And one Monday morning, she came into L.B. Mayer's office and said, Mr. Mayer, I'm going to get married. Well, he said, Gene, that's wonderful. I'll have a big reception for you upstairs with all everybody in Hollywood. No, she said, Mr. Mayer, you don't quite understand.
Grace Kelly had been newsworthy as a movie actress, but now her importance soared.
Miss Kelly, how do you feel on this occasion?
Needless to say,
in love with each other. Well, I do my blessing.
Reporters hung on every word and were alert to every move made by Grace or Prince Renier.
Will you continue with your career after your marriage?
Well, that decision will be made by the Prince.
Is Miss Kelly going to make any more movies as far as you know? I don't think so.
We did come to the house that Christmas, and Don and I had our own little apartment, and we asked them over for dinner, and he fit in very well, even helped with the dishes. Renier, when we first met him, I think might have been a little shocked with us when we think, come on, Ren, but he just fit into the family beautifully.
George, lie down with me.
Tracy.
In 1956, Grace made her last Hollywood film, High Society. In it, she proudly wore her new engagement ring.
The sense of style,
How do you do? I'm Tracy Lord.
high comedy performance that she gave in High Society. Vastly different from anything that she had ever done before.
Did you get lost finding us?
No, not at all. We had good direction.
Good. I do hope you don't mind our being here for your wedding. Oh, I'm delighted. There's so much cake. What is your name, dear?
Grace's sense of fun would never again be as publicly revealed.
Oh, my name is Elizabeth Embry. Elizabeth Embry. Oh, it sounds like a medieval saint who was burned to death. And you?
She had
I
this
feel like this joke by
extraordinary
could
woman's climb to
cues
the
from
absolute
it.
top apex of the industry.
There are a lot of people that have just quality and have no electricity. She combined them.
She could have called the shots for men. I mean, then she was finally in a position not to have to argue about the film she wanted to do, not to, people would have bought things for her, people would plan productions around her, they would have done anything. And she fell in love and she said, bye, I'm going off to be Mrs., in this case, the Princess of Monaco.
And before we all knew it, she was gone.
Grace Kelly had never really enjoyed the publicity that came with stardom. Now she would feel the burden of true international celebrity.
And how she was able to protect that small core that is so necessary, that keeps you sane. But she did. She was able, under the most extraordinary barrage and vociferous press and personal need that people had. I mean, people just, I don't know why they do it, but they seem to want to get inside, particularly the press, a person's soul. And Grace had the extraordinary ability of not rising above it, separating herself from it. It was almost a mystical kind of ability she had to be the quiet eye in the middle of a horrendous hurricane. And there she was, just firm and sure and calm.
It's a very exciting thing, and I'm very, very happy. Of course, I'm a little sad to be leaving home, but I hope to be back quite often.
She chose, as any average young woman would, her 6 best friends and her sister to attend her at her wedding to the prince.
And then Grace Kelly of Philadelphia, with most of her family and many of her closest friends, sailed away to become a princess.
Renier's yacht bears its betrothed in triumph into the harbor at Monaco. A few hours earlier, Grace Kelly.
Once we arrived in Monaco, it was, of course, all the madness that one has seen in over the years of what went on.
They came by the thousands to welcome and to judge. She was rich, she was beautiful, but she was an American, and to some of them, just an actress.
I think Grace had a tough job being a movie star from America, moving into the life of the symbol of a southern country.
Constant round of parties and being part of this glamorous and mythological event. And just simply being around royalty was new to all of us.
As Grace took up a totally new role, some who did not know her watched and waited for her to fail.
It was like a fairy tale, all of it, and that's the part that we got to be part of.
It was not a fairy tale. Grace relaxed at her husband's side, but she knew to the Monegasques she now had to prove herself worthy of being the wife of their ruler, Prince Rainier III.
The last time I saw Grace was in my own imagination when she was on the yacht, chugging away into the Mediterranean after the wedding was over. I realized that there was no more Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly was a memory. Grace Kelly was history. There was only just Grace Monaco.
And then we all went home, and she stayed there.
This was a very hard challenge for her because not only the language barrier, but in a foreign world, a foreign custom, and the principality, the formal way of doing things. She kept studying things that would enforce her position as princess. She utilized everything around her. She improvised on being a princess the way a really good actress will improvise on a part.
For example, she always tried to simplify things. Alexandre, the great hairdresser of Paris, fixed for her a number of special pieces of hair attachments. So when she would travel with all these French aristocrats, and while they were making appointments with hairdressers everywhere we went, Grace was always ready with one of these hair pieces. What did she make it into some kind of wonderful hairdo? Never took extra time.
Since she was fundamentally a working woman, she did everything with a great seriousness of purpose, with a great sense of responsibility.
On cultural or diplomatic occasions, with presidents, or with popes, she was expected to be perfect in bearing and often in her newly acquired language.
Bientôt pour Paris et ensuite Monaco, et notre visite était très agréable.
It was something that I am amazed that she could handle. I wondered so many times, I don't know, I know I could never do that. But she was determined to make a success of it.
Either or both to explain what will happen in the event twins are born. A boy second and a girl first. Who would be the ruling monarch?
The normal successor would be the eldest of the children, even if it's a girl, but that doesn't mean that she will rule, because she can always resign or abdicate in favor of her younger brother, and he will then rule.
Are twins expected?
Not that I know of.
Princess Grace, is your life as a princess what you imagined it would be before you became a princess?
Well, I sort of became princess before I had much time to imagine what it would be.
With the birth of a daughter, Caroline, on January 23rd, 1957, the line of succession was secure. Just 15 months later, a male heir, Albert, arrived to even greater celebration.
I think the immediate thing came was when she had the children, and they did come very quickly. She wanted the children. She loved them. Loved them. And we had so much fun roughhousing together. Her children and my children, our children were the same age. And they'd gone to camp together. John and I had been over to Monaco several times with the children. And they've come here in Ocean City.
Their needs were the same, for closeness and for family. In addition to her own children, Grace would always have the Kellys. Prince Rainier soon found himself an accepted part of that family.
Grace always adored children. She almost overadored her own children. She was the typical loving, sometimes interdisciplinary, but always giving mother.
Private time was essential for them both. Family life was a retreat from the formalities of state. Grace was determined to keep her family a success. No matter how demanding her official schedule, there was always time for her children. There were the trips home, often with Prince Rainier. There was the anniversary for Margaret Kelly and her growing brood of grandchildren. For Prince Rainier, cruises on his yacht meant he could indulge his passion for fishing. Then there was the time set aside for enjoying the palace pool, children and friends.
I think she held on to her old friends in those beginning years because they were her reality as Grace Kelly, and she didn't want to lose Grace Kelly.
There was never any loss of the sense that she was Grace from Philadelphia. She was a girl with an American soul and heart, and she brought that to Monica with her, and she never chipped away at that at all.
In the back of Grace's mind was always the possibility of going back to being a film star. I think she kept it there for those rainy nights.
I would occasionally read a script that would intrigue me, and I'd call her and send it on.
When the opportunity arose to do Marnie, I think she leapt at it.
I could understand why she would want to do it, even why Hitchcock would want to do it. The Monegas were absolutely, completely undone because they thought that she had abandoned them.
I think the thing that convinced her that she couldn't do it was that she was a princess of the church. And once she believed that dignity of being the princess of the Catholic Church was more important than being an actress, she accepted it, but I think it took a long time.
In 1965, 7 years after the birth of Albert, Stephanie performed.
Once Grace's life as a performing artist seemed to come to a close as she became Princess Monaco, she didn't discard her feelings for the arts, any part of them.
I got a letter from Grace saying that she was going around doing poetry readings for theater in London that was being built. So basically, Grace was an artist, and she did it through poetry.
She wanted very much to have Monaco be a cultural center.
Grace established a foundation to further her goals. The Monegasques had been without a playhouse for many years. A new one was built. Today, this theater draws drama companies from around the world. Once, the famous Ballet Russe of Monte Carlo danced here. Grace was determined to bring those great days back. A ballet company must have a school. Through the Princess Grace Foundation, a small school run by one of ballet's foremost teachers has been transformed into a world-class academy. Both Caroline and Stephanie had studied here as small children. Grace was frequently more than an onlooker.
I remember a particular general rehearsal when she asked me, do you think I could make them up? And all the little children gathered around her, all the faces turned towards the princess, and she was putting a little bit of rouge on their cheeks and a little bit of lipstick on their lips.
It was love of children and of ballet that led to one of Grace's few returns to film. The 1979 Earl Mack documentary, Children of Theatre Street, about young dancers in Leningrad.
They are the protagonists. But as their predecessors have demonstrated,
perhaps the greater protagonist is the school they go to. Angelina has practiced these movements hundreds and hundreds of times. In the next 6 years, she will repeat them thousands of times. What makes it worth it is this.
Bracing the demands of great performance. But for the Monegasques, Grace herself had gone beyond performance. Through the years, by her diligence, her constancy,
Because he's like, I
she
can tell,
truly
you
was
know, like,
Her Serene Highness, Princess
there's someone
Grace
in the
of
Boston
Monaco.
scene, you know, like, he's trying to make this like,
The job to get done, children
that's a
to
great, you know,
raise,
like,
and a lot of responsibilities and obligations.
music festival.
I like to think that they would consider me a professional at my job, no matter what it would be.
I get it,
If
that's
I take on something, I like to do it well, but I like to do it completely.
Yeah.
that's like, have you read the reviews about in the fucking, like, Scout Cambridge or whatever? I meant to post about that. It's, yeah, it's like as if the journalist was like held at gunpoint. That's what it comes off like, the reviews of Boston Calling. And that's the setup, you know, it's like actual music festivals that exist, it's like, they're like multiple day long things, you know, and everybody's there and it's a campground and they like camp there, you know, it's like that's what Bonnaroo is. I haven't been to like Coachella or Lollapalooza or all that, but like Boston Calling is not, and Levitate Music Festival, you know, similar. I mean, I applaud Marshfield and the Marshfield Fairgrounds for doing that as legitimate as they.
Aren't they saying that like all the Bonnaroo and Lollapalooza and Coachella are turned into big corporate? I mean, that's the market. Now, Kate is anti-Coachella.
Yeah, but like Boston is like Boston. I mean, yeah, it's not the anti-Boston Calling.
Right.
You know, like that's not even like that's the, you know, Boston Calling is on the money side of the radar and nowhere else. You know, it's not a like. It's just like, oh, you can do this and make money. Coachella and Bonnaroo, and I mean, I don't, but they, you know, they started out as something, you know. And there's at least that like communal, like, part of it. And like, I think that would be cool. I think everyone should do it. I was amazed that I didn't like that nobody that I really know was there. Because I've got time, you know, I don't really have any friends in Boston, you know. Like, I practically have more friends in New York. Pretty much everyone there was from New York. I mean, that's part of. Something. But like we have to be a part of all this shit, you know? It's like we gotta make it what it can be. Do you see that? Do you see that, like, and feel that, or do you, like, just think outside of the role of any type of responsibility? I'm not insulting you, I'm just asking. I'm just wondering, like, what you think.
I'm just trying to avoid responsibility. Have fun and care.
But that's all I ever, like, I hear you say that and get the idea that it's not sincere, but, and I've heard you say, like, I would love to hear, like, the sincere, like, counter, like, I'm not after, you know. It's like, if that's a sarcastic whatever, then just tell me about genuine things. What? You don't have to come up with anything. But it helps to just be honest about how you feel about things and how you see yourself. I honestly don't, I'm asking, you know, you gotta start somewhere and express it. You know? I'm not saying that you haven't expressed that like through your art and through things you do, you know, but there's nobody that's gonna make your life happen for you or make you be read correctly, you know, so it helps to be able to articulate your actual feelings about like.
Well, you start off by saying, you start off with a mild insult, and then like
So don't hyper focus on them. Just say what you mean.
I'm strong. I feel like go like.
What? No, you just don't hyper. Who cares? Like, why are you worried about it?
I'm not worried.
If that's not the truth about you and who you are, then stop hyper focusing on that and just say something genuine about you and who you are. That's impossible. See, that's what I can't, you know, like I'm but like mine.
When you start saying like, do you even care about anything? And then you start saying, well, I know you care about it. It's kind of fucking with me.
Huh?
It's kind of fucking with me.
I didn't say you don't care about anything. I didn't say.
Well, you
like,
said it when like a.
Pretty. Like why? Like it's like if you actually like why is that the main? So the main point of your existence is what I actually think about you and how I phrase. That's your whole point, though. That's your like thing, I guess. Is that you don't have to prove or say anything or stand for anything or like be anyone or say that you care about certain things or that you like That's your thing.
That's my strength.
As far as I know, it's like I've heard 1,000 like sarcasm statements from you of like I don't care and I said a dumb thing and I'm a stupid person and all this stuff. It's like that's not like what I'm saying. You know, like that's what you said. That's what you're saying now. You know, it's like you grab onto that and express. It's like you don't express anything from your own point of view. That you know, in terms of like who you are and what you care about and what you're trying to do with your life and what you feel like your responsibility in the world is, you know, I get those that are tricky things to like encounter and like deal with and whatever, but I think it's like pretty obvious that it's not like, oh, I'm trying to bait you with some kind of like negative idea about you, and then you're gonna say something genuine, and then I'm gonna be like hurt you about it, or like, why? Why do you think that?
Like, are you just like hanging out and feeling better about yourself?
How?
I mean, this is like so.
How am I talking to
It's
you?
like you don't see. You're not actually engaged. It's such a waste. God knows.
Why?
And they're never,
I mean, it's
they're
like
never
super
wrong,
specific. Like it's,
so you want me to have
not,
some like mission statement of delivery?
I'm just like it's not like it's like you don't have to have. I think you're like I don't know. You don't have to. I'm just saying like. You know, I express stuff like this all the time and I think about it all the time and I actively like create my life all the time and I have to think about it all the time. I have to. There is no other way, you know? Like, I don't think that you don't think about it, but I know that like you never express anything like to that point to me. And I didn't mean to hurt you or upset you by saying like, oh, is this just like the general demeanor that you have about things, how you feel about things, or like what do you really think? I feel like you just don't get you for whatever reason you like don't feel like comfortable like expressing like your genuine like thoughts and feelings about yourself in the context of like what you're trying to do. It's like you'd rather just like be there and do it or not do it, you know, but like you're never gonna express like I am Kyle Cuneo and this is what I want to do with my life and this is why and this is what I care about in the world and this is what I think I can do and what, you know, like I do think those are important things to just be able to talk about with people that you trust. Like if you don't trust me because you think I'm gonna like demean you about like genuine shit, like I don't think that I am gonna do that or do that, you know? Like where that comment is like, so to me it's not like super grave to like say that like, oh, you, that just seems to be like your outward like demeanor about things is that you don't like put yourself in certain roles, but then like also like just like do not communicate like at a lot of points about things that, like, as your friend, I don't want you to be fearful or feel like you can't. It's like I'm sorry.
Projecting all this like pitying on me. Like,
Why am I
you're
pitying
making up just to like just you're so like great with words and talking about yourself. You're like,
No, I'm not. Well, there's 10,000. You're the only. I mean, I love that you say that because you're literally the only person that says that, and everybody else is just like, you can't communicate and nobody understands what you said. You know, it's like I appreciate, I really appreciate that you say that. You know, but it's like also it makes me think like, you know, it's like you might be a lot better at articulating things than you think you are. Also, you know, just by like being really, you know, I don't think that you can be fake, you know, but I think that that's part of where that like communication like breakdown is, you know. Like I feel like it's another step to like communicate what you want and who you are and how you feel, you know, than to like be real and want what you want and think what you think and feel what you feel, but not be okay with expressing that openly. I think when you become okay with that, expressing it openly, like you get like another step and another step towards like making that your reality, you know? Because like a lot of those, like the things that I'm like bringing up or whatever right now, it's like I honestly don't know, you know? It's like I can guess, I can make it up in my head how you feel about things that like I assume are like very important things to you, but like I don't know. And like I probably over communicate all the time about everything. Like definitely, probably, I mean I definitely know it in many instances, like to my own detriment, you know? And then like I end up in a position like, well, it like I don't know, I could be no one to people and maybe it would make me more myself. I don't know. But like for instance, like I'm in a position right now where it's like I can book a show on the outside, from outside acquaintances, you know, at a place where like my bandmate is booking and has booked us and has told me that I'm banned from playing like semi after the fact, and I can like book that show for my own amusement with somebody that doesn't know that my bandmate has told me that I'm banned from playing shows with that establishment, you know, and just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and deal with it, and like show up and there's like a full band there, and then on the flip side, you know, that bandmate, it's like, who, what are you showing up, you know, it's like, what are you showing up for? Are people showing up for, you know, it's like, I don't need everything to be about me, but I know that I'm all I have at the end of the day, you know? So it's like, I can't just like be like, oh yeah, well I assume this and I assume that and everything's cool. You know, like I don't really make assumptions. I mean, I try not to because it's usually, I mean, it's one of the 5 agreements. You can't make assumptions, can't take anything personally. Always do your best. Always do your best, don't take anything personally.
You're like putting me down because I'm not. The band's not my name.
No, but I'm saying it's like if you cared about the band, if you, I'm like on the flip side, you know, 'cause it's like I do that, I take that risk. It's my no, it's not like it's not. It's like my name, you know. So it's like for that show on Sunday, it's like you know, like I don't know what happened, but like I was never told about it. And you know, like at the end of it, it's like when you're driving the car, like if I'm driving the car to a gig or whatever, if there's a show and I know that that show is happening at a certain point and I'm driving the car, like I take that responsibility and that becomes my responsibility. And I know that, you know, like I would never, like I don't understand what you're doing when you know, it's like, how is everybody like, I didn't tell anybody about this show or that they had to be there or to show up. And on top of that, you know, like my original bandmate is like, has a booking relationship with that venue and like has told me that I'm banned from playing there. So, you know, it's like not telling him. I figured, if anything, I'm doing him a favor, you know, because according to him, you know, he's booking shows with them and I can't play there because it's bad for his business or whatever the fuck it is, you know? So it's like, but like when everybody shows up and they're ready to play the gig and they don't care, like, it's like when you were like, oh, I'm mad at you, you know, or whatever. It's like, I thought you were mad about like, you know, it's like, I know that, you know, I know what my reality is and how seen and unseen it is, you know. But it's like, so if you care about being in a band, you know, it's like if you cared about being in that band or being at that show, if I was you, I'd show up and I'd be there. Even if you didn't care about me, leave me, you know, and make it there and do that show. Like, I don't get, like, not communicating with me at all or leaving on time to get there when, you know,
Figure out this guy friended me. This.
I'm trying so hard.
For what?
To wait for you to say something, but
That's not gonna happen.
it's like, oh my God, though, you know, because it's like you could say, like, well, I defer it to you in a band situation
No, 'cause
like
you,
that.
like, come
and that's
at
why,
me.
like, I just, like, it's like you could say anything.
Where's it gonna get me? I mean,
It's like, where does, like,
yeah, but
silence
you
get
have because you have like a built-in never wrong policy. It's like a wall that's just not even worth.
Well,
like,
tell me
arguing.
how I'm wrong or whatever.
I mean, you knew there was a show. It's you. I mean, with no truth, you didn't know there was a show. You didn't. I mean, I didn't even see
I
you
mean, I
until
heard
5.
about it from you.
And by then, you
I
know
don't
the
have
rest
a phone. Well, see, so that's
of it.
like
But
the
it's all
thing.
my. That's your thing.
But it's like it's probably going on in
every
your
time
head.
you're mad
You
at
probably
yourself,
care
I've
about
seen
it.
you do this. Like whenever you
No,
mad at
that's
yourself,
totally
you take it
true.
out on people.
Well, it's like it's not like it's like
So that's why
okay,
I'd rather
fully.
be
It's like, but
silent
it's like
than tell you what
it's like taking complete responsibility for everything I do. First, no, that's absolutely not
this
true.
gig was all
Everything I do, how is this
I mean,
gig
isn't this
all
this
your fault?
conversation? Is this the show?
That's I'm not saying that. I'm
And then
saying
see,
like,
this is your
what's
never
your
wrong. You don't need to like like you can't even meet me like 1% of the way. So it's no point in arguing.
But I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I would
like,
have a discussion with
like
anyone else.
why
with you,
you?
it's
But it's okay. Well, I think like so.
But you
like
do-
what
I've
I
seen you do
gather
this
is
to
like
people,
you're
too.
afraid to like
Because
say
it's
anything. To me.
pointless.
So I guess like when we came over there and like you weren't talking to me or like maybe in your head you were thinking about the show or something and like that we were gonna miss but instead and like you're like, oh well, she doesn't look like she's like ready to go right now or whatever and so you made these like assumptions like in your head, you know, versus just talking. Like I don't want it's like I don't know what's your like, you know, because it's like
I thought we were going to get to the show. I mean, when you disappeared again, we were done working. I was ready to leave, and I waited like an hour looking for you. And then made it go.
I was right there where we were.
No, I mean, everyone was
you
at.
left. I found you back at the campsite. I was there. I went. Well, but it's like you got to make it happen. Also, if you're driving the car to the gig and you know about the gig, and I don't know anything about the gig, and you want to make it there, and you want to do it, you gotta be like, we're gonna go. I don't. All I heard was from you. And so I was like, okay, he knows what's up with the gig. I'm not online. I don't have a phone that works. I'm like, all I knew was what you told me about it. So I assume, you know, it's like, I'm not resentful towards you or anything. Like, I'm not like, you know, because it's like, I know that all I have at the end of the day is my own self, my own responsibility for my act. But it's like, why, you know, it's like, what's the investment in a band that will like show up when I show up, but like, on the flip side of it, you know, it's like, to me, it's like if you're driving the car and that's how you're getting to the gig, the person that's driving the car, you know, it's like the same, like when we went to fucking Rhode Island or whatever with Maddie, you know, it's like I didn't realize that I had to be responsible about like telling Coriander we couldn't take her, knowing the directions, knowing every, and it's like
Yeah,
that is how I feel when things go. I'm not a victim. I'm not saying that I'm a victim. I'm telling you how I feel in my mind. You use those kinds of things. You say that about me. You say that about yourself. You say, I said a dumb thing. You're always a victim. You say these broad negative generalities. I don't do that. I'm speaking to you honestly from my heart. You refuse to do that with me. And it really does annoy me. And it's like it prevents you from speaking to me because you have some fear of like what I'm gonna do to you or like whatever. But it's like it's not a waste of time. Well then then it's a waste of time to like do anything together because it's like communication is really necessary to doing like all the types of things that we're doing together like successfully. And it's like if there's no communication, there's no responsibility. Like I take all the responsibility. Don't think for a second that any of this is your fault or your responsibility because you know it doesn't come down on you. I mean, and you won't define where it does. You won't define what you're engaged